2025 Ballon d'Or winners ranked. Mohamed Salah crashes out of top 5 after tough week. Raphinha, Kylian Mbappe and more in contention to win Golden Ball. Rodri's season-ending injury means he won't retain the trophy he won in 2024, so who are the main contenders to replace the Spaniard? If you thought the Ballon d'Or's days of headline grabbing were over after Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo's era of dominance, think again. After one of the most intense contests in years, Rodri emerged victorious in 2024, beating Vinicius Jr. to second place as Real Madrid dramatically boycotted the ceremony in Paris in protest at their star man's absence. Unfortunately for Rodri, he won't be able to defend his crown in 2025, as the Manchester City midfielder suffered a season-ending knee injury in September. The door is now open for a number of players to replace the Spaniard, and the race for the Ballon d'Or is heating up. The 2024-25 season doesn't have the same international tournaments as its two predecessors, meaning the Ballon d'Or destination will be determined solely by club performances. That opens up opportunities for all sorts of individuals who may not have shared the same success with their country as others, while there's also the prospect of a new Club World Cup to consider. So who are the favorites to claim world football's most prestigious individual award? As ever, the changing room is there every step of the way to track the contenders and pretenders with our Ballon d'Or power rankings. See who's in the running. 20. Serhou Guirassy, Borussia Dortmund. In 2024-2025 to 30 goals, 7 assists. Guirassy moved from Stuttgart to Dortmund last summer, and at the moment, the €18 million BVB paid for the Guinea international looks to be one of the biggest bargains of the last decade. Despite Dortmund struggling in the Bundesliga, Guirassy has been consistently on target, while his performances in the Champions League have been outstanding. Only Raphinha has scored more goals than Guirassy in Europe's premier club competition this season, and while beating Barcelona in the quarterfinals would be too much for Niko Kovac's side, as long as their star forward is on target, they have the chance to cause an upset. 19. Victor Gyökeres, Sporting CP. In 2024-2025 to 49 goals, 14 assists. An absolute revelation since arriving in Lisbon from Coventry City in the summer of 2023. It felt like Gyökeres' hat-trick to beat Manchester City in the Champions League last October was his true breakthrough moment, with the Swedish forward's goal-scoring exploits now receiving the global headlines they deserve. Perhaps inevitably, Sporting have fallen off a cliff since losing manager Ruben Amorim to Manchester United, and Gyökeres' goal-scoring rate has dipped as a result. A realistic chance of winning the Ballon d'Or is almost certainly out of his reach, but if he can keep scoring between now and June, his sheer goal-scoring exploits should see him at least in the running. 18. Erling Haaland, Manchester City. In 2024-2025 to 36 goals, 5 assists. Rodri became the first Premier League Ballon d'Or winner since 2008 when he collected the Golden Ball in Paris in October. And at the time, it seemed the most likely Premier League player to follow in his footsteps was Manchester City teammate Erling Haaland. With the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and Phil Foden enduring slow starts to the competition, Haaland was left to lead from the front, and the relentless goalscorer looked set to claim a third consecutive Golden Boot. However, the Norway international has not had everything going his way as City's form has dipped dramatically, and suddenly team and individual trophies seem increasingly unlikely for Pep Guardiola and his players. 17. Virgil van Dijk, Liverpool. In 2024-2025, 3 goals, 1 assist, 20 clean sheets. Despite approaching the age of 34, Van Dijk remains the best centre-back in world football, with the Liverpool captain having thrived in games at the highest level while providing leadership for a Reds side that is on course to win the Premier League. Disappointing exits in the Champions League and Carabao Cup have somewhat tarnished the Reds' campaign, but if this proves to be Van Dijk's final season at Anfield, with his current contract entering the final months, he looks set to leave Liverpool at the top of English football. 16. Michael Olise, Bayern Munich. In 2024-2025 to 13 goals, 13 assists. Olise looked ready for the elite during his final few seasons at Crystal Palace, and the summer signing has taken to the pressure of playing for Bayern Munich with ease, with the France international already a key figure in Vincent Kompany's title-chasing side. If Olise can maintain the level of form he showed against Celtic and Bayer Leverkusen into the latter stages of the Champions League, he could really push himself into Ballon d'Or contention. 15. Alexander Isak, Newcastle. In 2024-2025 to 27 goals, 6 assists. Won the Carabao Cup. When Isak started scoring in 8 consecutive Premier League games towards the turn of the year, the Newcastle forward was hailed as the most complete number 9 in European football, and he certainly has a case for it. The Sweden international appears to be getting better and better at St. James's Park, with top clubs from across the continent keen to prize him away from the Magpies. Isak will need to maintain his current form to be in the running for the Ballon d'Or, with a lack of Champions League football set to prove a detriment. Taking Eddie Howe's side to the Carabao Cup would certainly help his cause, and securing a place back in Europe's top flight could see him make the top 10. 14. Raphinha, Paris Saint-Germain. 2024-2025, 6 goals, 5 assists. Won the Trophée des Champions. Having made the surprise shortlist for the Ballon d'Or last year, it would be a surprise if Raphinha was not among the nominees in 2025 after his impressive displays at the heart of PSG's midfield. The former Wolves loanee has become the heartbeat of Luis Enrique's much improved side, and having proved his mettle in the Champions League by knocking out Liverpool, the League One leaders can still end the season with a treble. The return of such a trophy could also catapult Raphinha into genuine contention. 13. Lautaro Martinez, Inter. In 2024-2025 to 21 goals, 7 assists. Inter have not quite got their way in Serie A this season after winning the Scudetto last term, but Simone Inzaghi's side are still considered the best team in Italy, and few would bet against them not being able to retain their title in the coming months if Lautaro Martinez can find his best form in front of goal. The Argentina international is currently enjoying the most fruitful years of his career, and with the Nerazzurri also proving to be one of the toughest teams to beat in the Champions League, Lautaro will be eager to show the rest of Europe what he can do in the coming rounds. 12. Julian Alvarez, Atletico Madrid. In 2024-2025 to 25 goals, 6 assists. Atletico Madrid caught the eye when they splashed €95 million on Julian Alvarez during the summer, and the Argentine's slow start to life at the Metropolitano brought back memories of João Felix's failed big money move to the Rojiblancos. However, while Alvarez has only scored 11 goals in La Liga this season, his overall level of play has improved, and he has been finding the net regularly in cup competitions. However, there is no denying that the defining image of Alvarez's debut in Spain was probably when he slipped and probably took a penalty with both feet in the Champions League shootout defeat to Real Madrid. The former Manchester City man could still turn that around if he fires Atleti to glory in the Copa del Rey or La Liga, although winning La Liga has become much more difficult for Diego Simeone's side after their recent defeat to Barcelona. 11. Jamal Musiala. In 2024-2025 to 19 goals, 11 assists. After leading Bayern to the Bundesliga title in 2023, Musiala, like many of his teammates, endured a quieter campaign last term. However, the attacking midfielder has carried his form from Euro 2024 into this season and has been the standout performer in German football throughout the first half of the campaign. Musiala will obviously have to compete with goal machine Harry Kane, who has grabbed the headlines at Bayern, but the creative midfielder is doing his best to prove that he is the main man at the Allianz Arena. If he can maintain his form while leading the Bavarians to silverware at home and on the continent, he should be a leading candidate for the Ballon d'Or. 10. Jude Bellingham, Real Madrid. In 2024-2025 to 12 goals, 14 assists. Won the UEFA Super Cup and Intercontinental Cup. After a superb debut season at Real Madrid, it was perhaps inevitable that Bellingham would regress in 2024-25. And certainly in terms of goal scoring, the England midfielder struggled to hit the same heights during the early months of the season as he got to grips with his new role following the arrival of Kylian Mbappe. Bellingham, however, now appears to have found his way back to Los Blancos once again, and is prolific in the final third while also showing the work ethic that sets him apart from some of the world's top players. After finishing third in 2024, the 21-year-old could still be in contention for another Ballon d'Or, provided he avoids further suspension. 9. Vinicius Jr., Real Madrid. 2024-2025 to 19 goals, 13 assists. Won the UEFA Super Cup and Intercontinental Cup. After securing a shock second place in the 2024 Ballon d'Or, Vinicius vowed that the world is not ready for what he hopes will be his revenge tour. The Brazilian clearly feels he should have taken the stage with the Ballon d'Or ahead of Rodri, and has been trying to stake his claim ever since. The Real Madrid winger has certainly been at his best during the first half of the season, and perhaps no forward in world football can match Vinicius's form at the highest level. However, 2025 has not got off to a good start for the former Flamengo youngster, and he will need to be back to his best if Madrid are to retain their La Liga and Champions League titles. 8. Robert Lewandowski, Barcelona. In 2024-2025 to 36 goals, 5 assists. Won the Spanish Super Cup. With Lewandowski missing out on the 2024 Ballon d'Or, it appears the Pole's long and fruitless quest for the Ballon d'Or is over. However, after being reunited with his former Bayern Munich boss Hansi Flick at Barcelona, the 36-year-old has reverted to being one of the most formidable number 9s in Europe once again throughout the first half of the season. Age has been showing signs of catching up with the veteran in recent weeks, and there is no denying that there are more exciting players to watch in his own team, let alone among Barca's rivals, but Lewandowski still has a chance of getting back into the Ballon d'Or race thanks to his fine form so far. 7. Pedri, Barcelona. In 2024-2025, 5 goals, 7 assists. Won the Spanish Super Cup. His goals and assists are not particularly eye-catching, but anyone who has watched Barcelona this season will have been impressed by the level of Pedri that he has shown for Hansi Flick's side. Looking injury-free for the first time in years, the Spain star is finally getting back to the potential that he showed as a teenager before fitness problems befell him. To be in the running for the Ballon d'Or, he will need to continue to translate his performances in La Liga into the Champions League, but with Barca having been handed a favorable European draw, there is every chance that Pedri could be the man who leads them to the final. 6. Mohamed Salah, Liverpool. In 2024-2025 to 34 goals, 22 assists. Salah's Liverpool contract expires in the summer of 2025, so if this proves to be his final year at Anfield, he looks set to finish it with a bang. The Egyptian king has rediscovered his best form and improved even more under new boss Arne Slot, and has put the Reds in pole position to win the Premier League with ease. However, having been the firm favorite for much of this Ballon d'Or season, Salah's hopes have been shattered by Liverpool's shock Champions League last 16 exit, and his own absence from the Carabao Cup final defeat to Newcastle. The 32-year-old could still become Africa's first Ballon d'Or winner since 1985, but the going gets much tougher. 5. Ousmane Dembélé, Paris Saint-Germain. In 2024-2025 to 31 goals, 7 assists. Won the Trophée des Champions. Is the real Dembélé finally here? Since leaving Borussia Dortmund for Barcelona, the French winger has frustrated fans more than he has delighted, despite clearly being a player of great ability. Now, though, Dembélé appears to have found his rhythm midway through his second season at PSG, with his performances helping the French champions maintain their grip on Ligue 1. Meanwhile, their Champions League dreams are still very much alive after seeing off Liverpool in the last 16, thanks in part to Dembélé's goal at Anfield, and suddenly Luis Enrique's side look like genuine European contenders, led by their talismanic striker. 4. Harry Kane, Bayern Munich. In 2024-2025 to 35 goals, 11 assists. Is this the year Kane finally ends his wait for a first trophy in his storied career? Certainly, Bayern have established themselves in a strong position in the Bundesliga under Vincent Kompany, with the England captain once again showing his goal-scoring instincts remain strong despite turning 31 in the summer. Rodri's win highlights that goals alone no longer automatically win a player the Ballon d'Or, but Kane certainly has the all-round game that should catch the eye of the voters if he can lead the Bavarians to glory on home soil and on the continent in 2025. 3. Lamine Yamal, Barcelona. In 2024-2025 to 13 goals, 20 assists. Won the Spanish Super Cup. No player has won the Ballon d'Or before his 21st birthday in the award's almost 70-year existence, but it would be a surprise if Yamal didn't break the record given he still has 3 seasons left to do so. There is currently no greater talent in the game than the Barcelona teenager, who, as he has shown in 2024-25, will only get better and better. He is outscored by his 2 teammates in Catalonia, but many La Liga pundits would argue that the 17-year-old is the most impressive player in Spain so far. As such, the Copa Trophy winner could well be back on the scene in Paris in 12 months' time with an even bigger prize to his name. 2. Kylian Mbappe, Real Madrid. In 2024-2025 to 31 goals, 5 assists. Won the UEFA Super Cup and Intercontinental Cup. Mbappe may not have enjoyed the start to life at Real Madrid that he or the club's fans would have liked, but he has still scored plenty of goals. However, he has taken his game to another level after settling into his new surroundings in the Spanish capital, and has suddenly looked like a key player for Los Blancos, with his hat-trick against Manchester City in February the real announcement of his arrival at the Bernabeu. It's no secret that Mbappe is desperate for the Ballon d'Or given his reputation in his home country. If the last few weeks are any indication, he may finally realize his dream in 2025. 1. Raphinha, Barcelona. In 2024-25 to 31 goals, 19 assists. Won the Spanish Super Cup. There's an argument to be made that Raphinha has been the best of Barcelona's front three so far this season, and his goals and assists certainly back that up. However, there is a belief that the Brazilian is playing out from the back as the least heralded of the Blaugrana's attacking trio, and as such will likely need to produce some impressive numbers towards the end of the season to prove himself worthy of the Ballon d'Or. That said, there is no doubt that Raphinha is playing the best football of his career at the moment, and with a treble very much on the cards for Barca, he has to be considered the current favorite for the Ballon d'Or. Thanks for watching.